While the Fenrir's wolf and the Midgard serpent represents destruction, especially the violation of law, and the inhospitable ocean, which always threatens the earth's dams, are exclusively harmful powers, this does not apply to the same extent to Hel, who later appears as a giantess, as a gruesome ruler of the underworld, the realm of shadows, and also at the place of punishment for criminals, as a goddess of death, but originally also had a charitable significance. Her name Helion means to hide, to shelter, to conceal the dead, to be sure to be concealed and held captive in the area, dark abyss of the deep, but at the same time also to nourish. The protective earth, which shelters and fertilizes the germs of life, is called the Holy One, as a blessed, warm womb, as a venerable, Holy Mother. This is why the earth goddess Jord, also Fjorgyn, mountain Hlodin, earth goddess, the Nerthus, nourishing one of the South Germanic peoples, originally the great goddess compared to Isis by the Romans, was also thought of as Hel. Therefore, she is related to Frigg, who, corresponding to Hera Juno, is a goddess of marriage, the hearth, and fertility, the archetype of the Germanic housewife, the beautiful, strict, reverent wife of the king of the gods. It seems that she was initially the goddess of love, without regard to the holy marriage bond. Only later, as we have seen repeatedly, did this one side of the meaning separate from the overall figure and become a special, independent goddess of love as Freya. This explains why even later the two closely related and alliteration rhyming goddesses, Frigg and Freya, are often confused with each other, Frigga the strict and jealous one. The housewife who protects the marriage also sometimes comes into conflict. It is very characteristic of the dual nature of Hel, the one who represents darkness, grave and death, and at the same time nourishes life and is indispensable for the re-emergence of the protected germ, that Hel herself, of the maidens who stay with her, have half black and half white skin and clothing. The maiden who is cursed to the underworld and condemned to stay in the depths of the grave for a certain period of time is black, insofar as she has fallen into the depths, but white insofar as she is capable of redemption, liberation, through the victoriously bringing in light night. Therefore, in many legends and fairy tales, attention is paid to whether the bold liberator finds the person to be rescued already completely black, in which case she is lost, or whether there is still something white on her, in which case she can still be redeemed. This was then also transferred in church legends to the souls waiting in purgatory. As queen of the gruesome depths, as ruler of terror, As princess of the dark underworld, Hell also appears as the mistress of the places of punishment for wicked people who have to atone for the guilt of their lives after death. But it was Christianity that first made hell not hot for us. According to Germanic beliefs, the place of punishment for departed souls is a cold, watery hell streams under the earth, but the torments of this Germanic hell are not eternal. Bridge, which leads through stone to the underworld, is guarded by the giantess Modgudr. She is an accuser. When Brunhild rides to hell, the giantess blocks her path by reminding her of the sins she committed during her life on earth. Hell probably only became a goddess of terror, the giantess later on, after her benevolent side had found particular expression in the hereditary goddess Nerthus or Jord, as well as in Frigg. An apparently more recent depiction describes her as an evil monster. Her hoe is called Misery, her bowl Hunger, her knife Greed, her servant Sluggish, her maid Careless, her threshold Collapse, her bed Sorrow, her certain immanent Doom. She is only half human colored, the other half black or black-blue, so she is easily recognizable by their terrible appearance. Perhaps, however, in the past, in addition to those places of punishment, Hell's realm also contained spaces for blissful abodes, which were only later transferred exclusively to Asgard, whereby their continued existence in Hell, even for the innocent, was only thought of as a joyless. At least this assumption would best explain why legends and fairy tales in the realm of the underworld, in the bosom of the mountains, in caves beneath their lakes and ponds, knows of lovely gardens, flowery meadows, and golden halls in which the souls of the innocent departed leads a happy existence. After all, a festive reception is also prepared for Baldur in Hel's decorated hall. The beneficial effect of Hel alone is emphasized when she is thought of as one with the hereditary goddess Jord, South Germanic Nerthus, and therefore married to Odin as such. As a holy, blessed, all-nourishing Nerthus Mother, the hereditary goddess Terra Mater was worshipped by Suevic people on the North Sea coast. She lived on an island in the sea. Her holy chariot, covered by a richly folded garment, was kept in a chaste grove. Only the hand of the priest was allowed to touch the mysterious vehicle. He recognized it when the goddess entered the sanctuary. Immediately the cows dedicated to her are harnessed, and he accompanies the ceremonial procession in reverence. For now the goddess travels among the peoples and intervenes in the fate of men. At the same time of the early spring, February or March, Then a series of days of festive joy begins. All places that they deem worthy of entry and hospitality become festival grounds. Then the weapons are laid to rest. No military campaigns. All iron fortifications are locked up. Peace and quiet are known in those days. They are loved only in those days, until the goddess is satiated with intercourse with mortals, and the same priest leads her back to her sanctuary. Immediately the chariot, garments, and, according to belief, the deity herself are bathed in mysteriously remote lake. Any slaves who perform services are immediately swallowed up by the same flood. Hence, secret horror and a significant enigma prevail, for only those who are doomed to death know what that hidden thing is. This description by Tacitus in his Germania shows the earth goddess as a mother of joy, blessing, prosperity, and peace when she travels among the peoples. But the gloomy human sacrifices that the mysterious lake devours indicate that she was also the goddess of death and the underworld. The goddess's chariot may have been intended as a sheep. Under the image of a sheep, or more correctly on a sheep, a goddess of fertility who was compared by the Romans to the Egyptian Isis, held processions. Such festive processions, at the same time when winter gives way to the victorious arrival of spring, around Carnival, were frequent and have been preserved in some regions of this day. She traveled through the regions with her ship, plough, and wagon. The wagon of such a goddess, Saint Gertrude, who protected against being eaten by mice, is still kept in Nivelles. She is depicted with a mouse on her staff. She is also the protector of sailors. Rhine sailors pray in the chapel of Saint Gertrude in Bonn for a safe journey. She brings the beautiful season. She fetches the cold stone from the Rhine. Gathering in now possible again, Gertrude or Freya Gerda is the first gardener. On her day, March 7th, the cold gives way to the warmth of spring. Gertrude, the spirit darling, is by the way a Valkyrian name. She corresponds to Freya, therefore all the souls of the deceased spend the first night in Saint Gertrude's hall, the second with Saint Michael, the third only in heaven or hell. It is Freya who shares the souls of the deceased with Wotan, Odin. Also, like a pagan goddess, a forest animal is sacred to Saint Gertrude, is red-headed black woodpecker, Picus martius, also called Martin's bird, because it is dedicated to Saint Martin, or Wotan. Among the Italians, this bird was an enchanted king, Picus, a forest spirit, but as a bird it was dedicated to the war god Mars, which perhaps also refers to Saint Martin, with sword and cloak. Nerthus' husband was not Odin, but probably her brother Njord. who had to leave her and was accepted in the rank of Aesir because sibling marriage, which occurred among the Germanic tribes in ancient times as well as among other Aryan peoples, was no longer considered permissible by the Aesir. The advanced consciousness which created the Aesir religion. I am deeply grateful for this research to authors of a book Germanische Götter und Heldensagen, to Felix and Therese Dunn. Thank you for watching my channel, join it, and please write me your comments. See you later.